Bum 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 bada bum 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 bada bum. Do 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 do. Dum da dum da dum 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 da da dum da 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 dum 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 da da dum da dum da da dum dum da 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 dum da 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 dum dum da da dum da 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 dum dum da da dum da 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 dum 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 da dum da 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 do dum da dum da dum 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 da dum da dum dum da 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 dum da dum da dum 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 da 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 Does anyone recognize the theme tune? We morphed from Lord of the Rings to something else. It's quite niche. Nobody? Oh, well, come on. Obviously, it's the theme tune to the BBC's The Musketeers that ran from 2014 to 2016. Banging theme tune, to be fair. Good show. Anyway, right. Okay, I think I'm more or less ready to go. So, let's just start. Hang on. Here we go. Gosh, it's warm. Oh well, right. Hello, and also hello. Welcome back, faithful viewer. After many months apart, it has been, what, like 3 months? Best part of? It's been a while. Sorry about that. I have always, as ever, I have the best intentions of like starting a new schedule and being like, right, we're going to get back to it, content creating and all of that. And then it never actually happens because I'm a disaster and I can't control my life. But we're here now. You'll see from the title, we're picking up on something that I started 3 months ago, which was recording an audiobook version of Lonely Worlds. Again, the plan was very much to get that done all in one go. And then I got like this chest infection and I couldn't record or anything. And I was in bed for ages and it was very stressful and horrible. And then I got better, but then I was on holiday with my family and then I came back and then it was busy, like work and stuff. And then like I had no time and then it was now. So here I am and we're going to carry on like nothing ever happened. It's all an illusion. Yeah, it was Ninja. It was pretty unpleasant. It was all horrible. But better now. It took me a while to get like the energy back. You know, like when you have something like that, apparently like it just completely knocks you out. And like my breathing and everything like took ages to come back to like the normal levels, which was all quite difficult. Gosh, it is crazy warm in here. I'll tell you what, I can't have the window open while we're recording because we're not actually recording yet. I'm going to open the window because then that will make it vaguely kind of like cooler and I'm not going to just sweat. Where's the thing? There we go. Yeah. In fact, I might, if I give it a little, there you go, to let the air circulate. That helps. Anyway, that was ages ago. Doing much better now. Times are happy. I had a conference this on Thursday and Friday, like a science conference thing, which is my first time attending a conference in person. I've done them virtually before, but I hadn't had like an in-person conference, and that was kind of cool and kind of exciting. And I presented my work and stuff and met lots of people and did networking and all that kind of thing. But yeah, this is the first weekend in ages when I've actually had like, I've got a little bit of free time. It's like just a bit. It's like I've got sort of control of my schedule this evening. So I thought, why not? We'll do a stream. We'll do some recording. There's no warning or anything, but it's really hard for me to schedule these days. Maybe that'll get better. But yeah, so here I am. And some of you have shown up, and that's lovely. Hello, nice to see you again. So let's do some hellos. Hello, Ninja, lovely to see you. I know I saw you very briefly the other day on your stream, Ninja streams. Ninja's really cool. Hello, Gigi. Hello, Nuna Starrel. Hello, Ms. Gatonic. Hello, Czech. I can't call you Michaela Stefankova. I've got to call you Czech, because that's your name. Hey, Bard. Hello, A Lost Kitnip. Is that all the names? Christy, hello, Cthulin. Good to see you. Anyway, welcome. How is life treating you? I hope things are well and good. Things are well and good. Did that make sense? I hope you are well. There you go. I hope you are well and that things are good and stuff. Yeah. News, Lucien news for those of you who are fussed about that kind of thing. I don't know if you've seen, I haven't done like an official announcement on my end yet, need to get around to that, but Zelzaz had an update recently and it has Lucien interactions in it, which is kind of fun. It's the first time I've not included those in my mod because I'm so like behind and so far away from actually being able to do a proper update myself and everything. Blue Ponzu, who does Zelzaz, Alex, is he's got the interactions on his end with his, because he's got the same patchless interaction system that I put together for Lucien. So it's the same kind of thing. So yeah, the interactions are hosted on that end. So all you need is the latest version of Zelzaz. Download that and then yeah, have a play. They're very silly. It's almost all Alex's incredibly hard work. He's had like he's the one who's put all the effort into implementing it and writing half the stuff. Nuna also has contributed to the dialogue. Nuna, because when I was first getting started on it, I didn't have time, and Nuna had time. Nuna was able to put together some dialogue for Lucien to have with Zelzaz, because Nuna knew Zelzaz much better than me. So many points to Nuna for doing that. They did a great job. And Nuna or Starrel. But yeah, so Alex did great stuff with all of that. And the most difficult job for him was really corralling me and my schedule to actually get me to show up to do some of the writing and recording. So anyway, it's there. It's quite small scale compared to a lot of the other interactions that I've done and Zelzaz has. It's sort of a first stab at it, because the plan was always to record more. Again, my schedule didn't get around to doing more, but I'd still very much like to do more at some point. So hopefully it'll be something that just sort of gradually expands over time, he says, optimistically. The ones that are in there aren't all the ones that there will be. Hopefully we'll be able to add more in future updates and sort of expand that interaction. But I think there's 110 lines in there to be going on with, which, as I say, I think is the smallest interaction that Zelzaz has with another mod. But it's something there. So you get some acknowledgement, there's some fun conversations, there's some silliness, there's dad jokes, as Kitnet points out. And if you haven't tried Zelzaz, now's a great time to do it, because Zelzaz is a super cool follower mod. Argonian, very cool, very well written, nice, really nice attention to detail on it, and yeah, strong recommend. And yes, there is cute Lucien art on Zelza's page, because Zelza's has like these cute little art sketches of like all the characters that they interact with. And there's a Lucien one, which I didn't know was coming. And I looked and I was like, oh, that's lovely. So yeah, do check that out. Anyway, there you go. Also, sorry, yes, I could see Staril about how I was right about the approval being stuck on 0, but I gave the clue to fix it. I did actually see that in the Discord discussion afterwards, so I'm glad you got that fixed after Ninja's stream. Yes, but yeah, so yeah, he shouldn't have been that cross with you in the test. But anyway, so I don't know how to talk anymore. It's like I've got out of the habit of doing this. The stream of consciousness thing isn't quite. I'll ease into it. It'll all become smooth again. There's Blue in the chat. Hey Alex, how you doing? Other bit of updates for those of you who again are fussed. The Treacle People audio drama thing I've been working on is very much continuing. I finished all my sort of directorial input on it from the sort of director's cuts, and the audio, like the sound design thing, is about 3/4 of the way through. Then we're going to have to do a music pass. So there's quite a lot more work still to be done on it, but it's really coming together really nicely, and I'm really happy with how it's going. And we've also got some really cool cover art that I can't show you yet, but Sean Longmore, who does a lot of the art for the Doctor Who Big Finish, like front covers, has done us some cover art for the Treacle People audio drama, and it's looking awesome, and I can't wait to show you. No, the piano has always been there in the background. No, it's not new. Well, it's always been there since we've been in this accommodation, which has been a while. But yeah. So anyway, yes, as I say, it's coming together super nicely. It's very, very funny. Like, I'm having a great time listening to all the drafts and things. It's great. But yeah, I'm like hopeful we might be able to release something around the end of the year. But it's, everyone's doing this as sort of in their spare time. It's all like a labor of love. It's not like, we haven't got the budget to pay people like to sit down and do it full time. So it's much like modding, really, to be honest. It's all like, it's kind of one of those things that'll be like, it'll be ready when it's ready. But I'm very much looking forward to releasing it when it is ready. So there you go. Anyway, this, on the other hand, this audiobook, hopefully will be able to come out much sooner, because I can just sit here and record it, and then there doesn't need to be any sound design or anything. It's just words. So that I can do. Hello, Leo. Welcome to the stream. I'm really glad you're enjoying Lucien. That's very kind of you to say. So, on the audiobook front, if you cast your minds back to 3 months ago when I last did one of these audiobook recording streams, we recorded the first 3 chapters of Lonely Worlds. First 4 chapters of Lonely Worlds, which is the book What I Wrote. And since then we had to throw them all away because they were too noisy. I had my microphone balanced wrong. I had clipping, like peaking, going on my recordings. And there was too much fan noise from my PC. And it was all like, I was like, this just isn't quite up to scratch. But I came up with a new system. I downloaded some proper software to properly edit, to properly control the fans on my PC, to turn them right the way down. So actually most of my PC fans are now turned off. And the only one that's going is the CPU fan on minimum. And it works really, because that's all it needs. When I'm just doing word processing and recording, my PC does not need to be running the graphics card at all, and it doesn't need to be blasting the fans and keeping it all going and everything. It's like, we don't need any of that, so that massively reduces the noise. I've also got my heating turned off, yet it's still crazy warm in here. Don't know why that's happened. I cooked a Sunday roast earlier, so I'm wondering, like, the house does heat up quite a lot when I put the oven on, because it's not very well like insulated, so I think I may have accidentally sort of cooked my house. Anyway, yeah, it's a massively improved setup, and I got hold of some, well, I say got hold of, bought at great expense. We'll never make the money back for it, but hey, it's nice to have it done. I bought some proper software which does mouth denoising and like mouth declicking and just general denoising of audio. It's like really subtle. It doesn't like in any way reduce the quality of it. It doesn't take out any of the vocals, but just like really makes it sound really nice. And that's like a perpetual license, so I'm hoping I can use that for all my recording for the rest of my life. And it does really make a difference. So, anyway, it's all much better. I have since re-recorded chapters 1 to 3, and they sound great. Chapter 4, I had hoped to have got recorded before we started this stream, so there was no overlap. Didn't get around to it, so we need to start by re-recording chapter 4 today. I thought, oh, that's not ideal. People have just listened to it in the last stream. We'll have to listen to it again in this stream. But then I thought, stuff it. You know, it was 3 months ago. You've probably all forgotten it anyway. And if you haven't, by all means, turn this stream off and go and do something else and come back in an hour when we've done it and moved on to chapter 5. Or skip ahead in the stream. I might put a comment underneath at some point saying how long this bit lasts until you can get onto chapter 5 or something. Or just, you know, make sure I do it properly again. Just listen to me again and you know, tell me whether I'm rubbish or not, and you can be my directors and we can make sure it's all a really nice performance that we're all happy with. But hey, you get what you get, and I thought you'd rather have a stream that's repeating some of the content from before than no stream at all, because if I wait for it to be perfect, I'll never do it. So that's what we're gonna do, and I'm delighted to be your background audio, Kevin the Prince Dragon. So yeah, I'm going to be recording this in Audacity, which means it should let my sound card just behave, because Audacity plays really nicely with audio streaming. Other sound software that I use, like Pro Tools and Cubase, often has a fight with the sound card with the streaming software when I'm trying to do this, and then the sound all drops out and everything. Audacity seems to play nice, so hopefully it'll be fine. But if you lose the sound suddenly, let me know, and I'll try and fix that. But hopefully it's fine. Miskatonic, that is a really good quote. I don't know whose quote that is. I've heard it before, but you're absolutely right. Perfect is the enemy of done. Yes. And I'm really bad at getting things done. I'm really bad at finishing jobs. I'm great at starting things. I start so many things. Really bad at completing them. So let's try and take a few more steps towards completing this, at least. So there we go. That is what we are going to do. So I suppose I better shut my window. I'm really enjoying the nice cool breeze, but like the blowing sounds and the sirens in the distance and everything are gonna just create all sorts of noise on the microphone. So we'll have to close that, and I will have to just sweat, and it'll be delightful. But let's do that. I think I'm gonna do that. Okay. Did it. Ugh. That was really elegant, I know. Do we want that way? I prefer blinds like that. I don't know why. I find it more, like, aesthetically pleasing. Anyway, right. Cooked House and Cooked Joseph. Absolutely. Hi, Isa. Tell Isa hi. Give them strokes from me. Pets and cuddles. Cooked House and Cooked Joseph. Just cook it all. Oh man, we're so cooked. That's what all the YouTube videos say these days, isn't it? They're like, the Rings of Power is so cooked. When they're all just whining. Rings of Power is brilliant, by the way. I love that show. It's great. But yeah. Right. Okay. Let's get on with the thing. Where's my button? Here's my button. I'm just going to keep the camera just on my face for this, because I don't think there's a lot of point you being able to see the recording software. It was so good, wasn't it? It was so good. I lost Kitnip. It was great. But yeah, we're just going to keep it like this. Because, yeah, there's nothing desperately interesting on the screen apart from the book. But, yeah. So, if I press the record button, let's just do a little test. Testing. 1, 2, 3. Round and round the rugged rocks the ragged rascal ran. Too far to my car, too far to my car. Bing, 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 bing. Too far to my car, too far to my car. Seems to work. Round and round the rugged rocks the ragged rascal ran. Too far. Not hearing any horrible buzzing? You hearing any horrible buzzing or anything over my microphone? Let's just record some room tone as well. No, I can just hear the amplified sounds of my throat. Lovely. All the sort of lip smacking and weird mouth noises that we make. We do love it. Yeah, there will be an echoing effect on the recording playback. That's because it's playing out my speakers and being picked up by the microphone and then broadcasting back out to you again. But no, that's not actually on the playback. That's fine. So, not a lot I can do about that, to be honest. No, not unless I start wearing headphones, and that'll just like be uncomfortable. So no, we'll just do it. It's gonna be good. Okay, right. Oh, should we do a previously on? Sorry, just before I start. Previously on the story, for people catching up on YouTube or who haven't seen the last part or whatever, following a story of a guy called Ninja. Why did all your messages just delete? Nuna, did you accidentally just ban Ninja? I think Nuna accidentally just says all of Ninja's messages have just been deleted. Nina, I don't think you meant to do that. I don't know. I'm sorry, Ninja. I don't know if I can overrule. Undelete. Is there a button for undelete? No. Ninja, can you still hear us? Can you still type? Or are you blocked? It doesn't say that they're hidden. I'm gonna let Nuna and Ninja figure that out. Anyway, previously on Lonely Worlds, this follows a character called Felix, who's lost in the multiverse, and is always having to move on from one world to another, and what happens is he never meets anyone because he's always traveling, he's always alone, doesn't know why this is happening to him. Then he does meet someone. He gets attacked by a lizard, and he meets somebody called Haley who looks after him and sort of like nurses him back to health. And she is also cursed to like travel the multiverse, like moving from world to world to world. And they don't know why. And they have a chat about that. And there's a bit of side plot. And then they go in a cave and they hear a voice talk to them. And the voice is like, yo, you two, you're on like an epic quest. It doesn't speak like that. And you're going to go to several different places that I'm going to give you like warning of up front. And you're going to go to those places and it's like a test kind of thing or something. And hopefully you're going to survive. And good luck. Pretty much. And I think that succinctly summarizes it. And now they have gone to a world what is on fire. And they're like, oh, what are we going to do? And yeah, I think I've summed that up really nicely. That's the official blurb of the book. So we will continue from the world that is on fire. I don't think Ninja's back. I'll let you discuss on Discord with Ninja. Okay, right. Now we're going to record. Chapter 4. How can a world like this even exist? There's not even anything to burn. Not grass, not trees. Just the earth itself wreathed in crimson flame. There are no stars. No moon. Just fire below and darkness above. This is stupid. One more time, weird mouth noise. This is stupid. We heard a voice in a cave, and now we're marching across the least hospitable land I've ever encountered. We'll probably die out here. It's not as if there's anything to eat or drink. And the heat has me dripping with sweat. We should have stayed in the cave. But that voice, it compelled me. Irresistible, powerful, but more importantly, it moved me on without me feeling the call. Irresistible, powerful, but more... Irresistible, powerful, but more importantly, it moved me on without me feeling the call. Maybe, just maybe, if I found it, it could send me home. What do you think it was? I ask Haley, raising my voice over the constant, maddening crackle of the flaming land. We stopped holding hands a while ago. The voice, I mean. God? Weird voice, try again. God? She replies. I can't tell if she's being sarcastic or not. I don't know, she continues. But it doesn't matter. The voice knew about us, what's happening to us. We have to find it, don't we? How could we not? I don't know about you, but I need answers. Her thoughts echo my own. We follow the path through the flames for I don't know how long, as the heat dries our throats and skin, but the bottles in our pack only hold so much water, so we resist the urge to glug them down, and instead get by on small, unsatisfying sips. Our path leads us up to a low No, it doesn't. Our path leads us up onto a low, flaming hill, and as we reach the top, we both stop, awed despite our exhaustion. The hellscape stretched out before us is spectacular. Orange flames cloak the land, and for as far as the eye can see in every direction, from the hill we stand on to the jagged mountains in the distance. Every metre of charred black earth covered by the inferno, save for the dead straight path that runs from here to the cave and on down the hill in front of us. Wow, that was a run-on sentence. Let's try that again with proper breath control. Orange... Weird stomach noise. Orange flames cloak the land for as far as the... Come on, this is tricky. Right. Orange flames cloak the land for as far as the eye can see in every direction. From the hill we stand on to the jagged mountains in the distance. Every metre of charred black earth covered by the inferno, save for the dead straight path that runs from here to the cave and on down the hill in front of us. My eye follows its route, and a little beyond the bottom of the hill, through the fire, I can make out... A city? Haley asks, squinting against the light of the flames. I think so, I reply. Yes, it must be. The more I look, the more I find I can see. The city is huge, taking up a vast proportion of the visible land before us, though it's hard to make out through the perpetual blaze. The buildings are tall, modern-looking, like skyscrapers, though every one of them is broken and crumbled, and wrapped in the omnipresent fire. Between the great towers lie myriad smaller, perhaps residential buildings, lining streets that crisscross the city in a regular, efficient grid. It reminds me of New York, though I never managed to go before I left our world. Our path cuts right through the middle of the city, disappearing into the buildings, and though I can't follow its precise route, I can see it does not continue beyond the city itself. I guess that's where we're supposed to go, Haley says. Must be, I agree. I offer her my arm in a mock gentlemanly fashion. Shall we? She snorts and elbows me aside. I shrug, and we start the descent together. Okay. Section 1 going, warming up into it. Might re-record these first bits, we'll see. But I think it's going all right. Glade, that's almost certainly not happening at any point. I'm not doing Dark Souls 3 level 1 run. I just won't be able to do it. I did tell you before, it's not going to happen. Right, okay. I'm not competent enough for that kind of thing. Okay, right. Oh, I need to sort of adjust this so that it's on the right side of the... Because I can't see it past the microphone. It's gone over to the other side. How do I make it... I want one column. Here we go. Okay, got it figured out. We still recording? Yep, we're still recording. I'll stop the recording there and save. Oh, did you time Ninja out? Nuna, is that what you did? Okay, well that's good it wasn't a ban. You'd think there would be an untimeout button. I don't know. Anyway. Poor Ninja. Sad. Anyway, right. On we go. Next section. Our water... No. Our water supplies are uncomfortably low by the time we reach the city border. Both our bottles are down to less than a quarter full, and we're almost gasping with thirst, not to mention shattered from the heat and the exertion. I pray without much hope that there might be water somewhere in the city. Tall buildings burn on either side of the road as we follow it into the city. Only a few... Ninja's back! Welcome back, Ninja! Tall buildings burn on either side of the road as we follow it into the city, only a few degrees away from being parallel to our path. As such, the road slowly veers to the right of the corridor in the flames, so we move further and further left, until most of the passable route is now buildings with no obvious doors, with Haley and I confined to the raised pavement between their walls and the flames to our right. We reach a T-junction, and the right turn is blocked completely by fire, so our only choice is to turn left. We do so, along the width of the path, and just before we reach the crackling flames on the other side, we reach a tunnel leading into and under the buildings on our right. I suppose it must be that way, I say, and Haley shrugs. We take another drink before we enter it. We take another drink before we enter it. Enter it. Enter it. Enter it. We take another drink before we enter it, and after a sip, I find there's merely a trickle left in the bottom. One more stop and I'm out. Haley's is the same. With nothing else for it, we shoulder our packs and walk on into the tunnel. To start with, it's lit... To start with, it's lit by the residual light from the flames outside, but... Nope. To start with, it's lit by the residual light from the flames outside, but soon it descends into pitch darkness, and we carry on by feel, arms stretched out in front of us, in case we walk into something. Haley? Yeah? I don't like this one bit. That doesn't quite sum up my serious reservations about marching headlong into pitch darkness on a dying world. Me neither. The moment she says that, there's a colossal bang, and a sudden pungent smell of rotten eggs, followed swiftly by a blindingly bright light bursting into life above our heads, followed by another, and another, and another, illuminating the way ahead. I squeal with shock, a high-pitched girlish sound I'm immediately embarrassed by. Annoyingly, Haley merely jumps and makes no such noise. It takes a moment for our eyes to readjust to the glare, and we follow the light to a featureless metal door at the end of the corridor, hanging half off its hinges. Should we go in? Haley asks hesitantly. What could possibly go wrong? I declare with a grin, and she follows me through the door. The corridor opens up into a vast, cavernous room, devastated by whatever cataclysm set this world aflame. Its floor is made of steel that must once have been shiny and polished, but now is caked with dust. Above, dozens of tiers rise. So they do, don't you know? Above, dozens of tiers rise as high as I can see, ringing a central hollow that goes all the way up to the distant ceiling, far, far above. Just going to pause there because I have to just respond to this egregious comment. Glade, Disney has not taken over Doctor Who. Doctor Who has extra funding from Disney. It's very much still owned by the BBC. That's all. So it's been distributed now additionally by Disney, but they haven't taken over Doctor Who. Just have to jump in and correct that. Anyway, I love it. It's great. Fantastic. Okay. Anyway, speak of the Doctor Who, as you say. Here's the next paragraph. In the middle of the hollow is a round console that reminds me an awful lot of the TARDIS from Doctor Who, with a central column that goes all the way up. On each level, wires branch off from the column to smaller individual computer terminals on desks, arranged in a circular fashion. I'm going to do that paragraph again. In the middle of the hollow is a round console that reminds me an awful lot of the TARDIS from Doctor Who, with a central column that goes all the way up. On each level, wires branch off from the column to smaller individual computer terminals on desks, arranged in a circular fashion. Most of these are overturned, the monitors shattered, the wreckage covered with the omnipresent dust. Although the room is far larger in diameter than the width of the flaming path that led us from the cave, no fires burn in here. I think we've arrived, I observe. Although it's cooler in this building, thinking of the fires reminds me how desperately thirsty I am. There's nothing for it. I have to finish the bottle, and Haley does the same. We approach the nearest terminal to us that doesn't seem too damaged. The computer is what? The computer? Where? We'll pause that. Because there's Doctor Who questions! I'll talk about Doctor Who till the cows come home. Who is your favourite Doctor and why is it the 9th Doctor? Great question. My favourite Doctor varies a lot. But I can tell you it is one of the 2nd Doctor, the 3rd Doctor, the 12th Doctor, or the 15th Doctor. Those are my top. I've counted 4 fingers, but I'm pretty sure I said 5 names. 2nd, 3rd. Maybe I didn't. Maybe I said 4. 2nd, 3rd. Yeah. 12th and 15th. They're my top. I think. Not in that order. Can't pick among them. I love all of them, by the way. They're all fantastic. But I think those are my top ones. Hello, Kyle, not a fake name. No, I haven't. I've heard about that there is a new Bard's College expansion. I think it's pretty cool what's happened with, like, Skyrim and creations and how modders can now mod professionally and be paid money for it. I think that's a very cool development. Provided it's done right. And I think it has been done fairly well to an extent. But what it's meant is it's no longer, like, official content, like the Creation Club was or whatever. It's no longer canon. It's just more mods. And to be honest, I personally don't play Skyrim enough, or I don't play it enough, and there isn't enough of a lack of content for me to justify paying for more mods. Like, as things currently stand with the new creations that are out, they're all very cool, but I don't feel any obligation to play them like I would DLCs. Right now, because there are so many cool mods out there that I haven't played that are free, and there are so many cool, like, parts of Skyrim that I haven't discovered that are free, and there are so many, well, that I've already bought, and there are so many other games that I haven't played that right now I'm not so into, like, I'm not buying up the creations, basically. But it sounds very cool. I understand it's very professionally made, very cool looking, but I haven't played it, and I'm unlikely to play the new creations at any point in the near future. It's just not sort of currently on my list. That said, that might change, or there might be a particularly exciting new one that comes out that I might be like, oh, fantastic. Oh, no way! That's awesome, Kyle. I didn't know that. They got the original Guard VA to come back. Game changer. That's super cool. That's something that could only ever happen with creations, with Bethesda's involvement. So that is really cool. So I stand corrected. That alone is almost enough for me to say, okay, I will buy that one then. If they're able to rehire voice actors from the original game, that is like phenomenal. Very cool. What is my favourite moment from Doctor Who, or one of them, and why? Well, I am a huge advocate of encouraging more people to watch Doctor Who. I would love any of you in the audience who haven't watched Doctor Who, you should watch Doctor Who. What are you doing? Go and watch Doctor Who. And therefore, I'm not going to say a specific moment because I don't want to spoil it for anyone who hasn't watched it yet, who I'm currently encouraging to watch it. So I'm not going to do that. But I will say the end of the 50th anniversary special, I think, is my favourite. That was my biggest, happy moment of watching Doctor Who. Not spoiling what content happens at the end of the 50th anniversary special, but the end of the 50th anniversary special. I say the end, like the end of the third act kind of thing. When the eyebrows. That moment. My favourite moment. Anyway. Where could I watch Doctor Who? Netflix. It's on Disney Plus, Leo. If you're not in the UK, it's on Disney Plus. If you're in the UK, it's on iPlayer. Yeah, Time Crash is canon. It's all canon. Everything in Doctor Who is canon. But also, though, and I'm going deeper cut. Sorry, I'm trying to record an audiobook, and now you've got me talking about Doctor Who. But I love talking about Doctor Who. I will also say, as an avid fan of the Big Finish audiobooks, which if you're a Doctor Who fan and you haven't tried Big Finish, try Big Finish. I know a lot of them are expensive if you buy them like full price or when they just come out, but you can find a lot of them are free on like Spotify. And then a lot of their older back catalogue has been reduced to being very, very cheap, which is great. But there is a Big Finish audio drama called The Rocket Men, narrated by William Russell. I think it's written by Simon Gurrier. It's about Ian Chesterton, who was one of the Doctor's first companions, right back from the 60s. He narrates it. It's a missing adventure that's like, you know, they do a lot of these missing adventures of adventures that didn't happen on screen, but like, you know, it's called The Rocket Men. It's only an hour long. The cliffhanger at the end of part 1 and the start of part 2 of The Rocket Men, peak Doctor Who. That, if I'm including the whole Doctor Who wider universe, that specific moment, the cliffhanger between Rocket Men Part 1 and Rocket Men Part 2 on Big Finish Audio, is my favourite moment in Doctor Who. None of you will have listened to it. Maybe none of you will ever listen to it. But, faithful viewer and listener, if you're interested in getting into Doctor Who Big Finish kind of thing, and you're like, ooh, what's a really good one? The Rocket Men. There you go. It is kind of all dependent on you having watched a bit of the first Doctor's era, but yeah. Anyway, how long am I planning on streaming for? Probably another couple of hours. Frosty Blue, any updates on Lucien the Dragonborn 2? No. Sorry. I would love to do it. I do still love to do it. But I can't now. Having said before a number of times, oh, I'm going to do it at this point, or it'll be out by then. I can't commit to any kind of... I would like to at some point, but I don't. I can't. I don't know when. I don't know when I'll have time for something like that. Anyway, lovely having you here, Glade. Thanks for chatting. Okay. Anyway, yes. Rocket Men, William Russell. Phenomenal actor. Very sadly passed away recently. But absolutely fantastic. Is it Simon Gurrier? I want to make sure I've credited that right. The Rocket Man. It's not. It's John Dorney. John Dorney. I'm an idiot. I'm so sorry, John, if you by any chance in the future ever happen to, for some reason, stumble across this section of the stream. It's John Dorney who wrote The Rocket Men. John Dorney is one of those writers whenever you see something is going to be written by John Dorney, and a lot of his stuff is just Doctor Who, but whenever you're like, it's like when you're watching Doctor Who TV and you see, oh, the next episode is a Stephen Moffat episode, and you know what you're in for. You're like, oh, okay, right, brace yourselves, it's a Stephen Moffat. It's like that when it's a John Dorney audio. You're like, oh, the next one's a John Dorney. You just know it's going to be phenomenal. And that, yeah, there you go. Anyway. Sorry, big fanboy. Who did I use to get my book published? If you want to self-publish your book on Amazon, you go through KDP, Kindle Direct Publishing, which is what I did because I couldn't get a publisher. I couldn't get an agent or publisher, whatever. It's very, very difficult to do that, and I ain't good enough. So I just self-published because I wanted the book to be out there. But yeah, if you, by all means, try approaching agents, because some people do get them. And if you can get an agent, fantastic, you're set. But if you want to just get a book out there and start getting feedback on it and things, then yeah, you want to go KDP. Okay. And then you can do the audiobook through ACX, which is Amazon's audiobook self-publishing platform. And then they integrate, which is what I'm doing for this. Okay. On with the audiobook. We approach the nearest terminal to us that doesn't seem too damaged. The computer is a box made of black, glossy metal, with neither a keyboard nor mouse, but a row of small green and red lights flickering softly. I reach out a hand to it. Rakal mok palgui. No, come on. Computer voice. Hello. Welcome to the computer. I am a computer. This is not actual dialogue from the book. I am just getting into the tone of voice of the computer. It is a computer that does not properly provide modulation for the speech. It simply talks a lot like this. Hello, and welcome to the computer. Okay, now I'm going to pretend I'm a computer speaking in another language, because that's what happens here, but it's a made-up language, and I need to try and do it with the same tone of voice. Okay. Rakal mok palgui, a synthesized voice announces, in a language I know nothing of. We both leap backwards. What was that? Haley breathes. I stare at the sleek, sophisticated-looking box, so unlike any of the technology around when I left home. I think, I murmur softly, it's alien. We grin at each other stupidly. We've made first contact, she giggles. Us, two teenagers from London and Surrey, with no qualifications to speak of, and certainly no experience at all with whatever this was. We burst into hysterical laughter, collapsing against the table and each other. A year of travelling entirely alone, then one day another human, and the next, aliens? What? Just what? Kalrathi Moliabak, Pasarip, the computerized voice continues. What do you think it's saying? Haley asks as I wipe my eyes. It responds before I can. Language identified. Earth English layer AQ14508. Dialect circa 2000 CE. Welcome, Error 051. This is so Doctor Who. This is so Doctor Who, Haley whispers. Not quite. This is so So, I made her really posh there. Oh, hello. Hello, darling. This is so Doctor Who. This is so Doctor Who, Haley whispers, echoing my earlier thoughts. What information do you require? It states in a flat monotone, and I realise the voice synthesizer has not been programmed to raise its pitch, as one normally would with a question. What is this place? I ask. Information unavailable. Well, that's helpful, Haley remarks. What happened to this world? I try. Information unavailable. Haley pushes me to one side to address the computer herself. Where can we get a drink? There's a pause. Information unavailable. I pound the table in frustration. This must be damaged, I say. We try another 2 terminals that look more or less operable, but they all say the same thing. What information is available? I ask the 3rd terminal. 2 recorded messages. Let's hear them then. There's another pause. Translate to user language. Confirm or deny. I glance at Haley. Confirm, she says. Commence message 1. I can hear them outside, the computer says in its monotone, and a chill runs down my spine. The door holds them back, but not for long. Council declares colony beyond saving. They have proposed a vote to trigger scorch. We cannot let them have our home. Better to let it burn. I am starting a total system purge. All we have learned, all our discoveries, our culture, our art, I am wiping it all. They cannot know any more about us, or they may use it against the other colonies. I will not allow it. If anyone can hear this, if anyone has come here looking for answers, I cannot help you. End of message 1. Haley quietly takes my hand. Her face has gone pale. Aeroplane. Meow. Wait for it. I'll pause the recording so that it's saved. Hello, Awesome's YCO. Okay, same question I asked last time I recorded this. The computer monotone. What do you think? Is it too monotonous? Because I've specifically written it as being monotonous, but I worry that recording it in that monotone makes it difficult to listen to. On the other hand, it's supposed to be a monotone, and that's supposed to be what kind of makes it chilling. But is it not right? What do you think? Starrel, are you saying it needs to be more monotonous? Awesome's YCO says it sounds good. Interesting. Okay, well, if you think more monotonous, and in my mind I think not monotonous enough, then we're probably somewhere about right. But I'll try another take, going even more monotonous. But how do you mean more airy sounding, Ninja? Because I could go full robot. I could go full... Commence message 1. I can hear them outside. The door holds them back, but will not for long. Council declares colony beyond saving. They have proposed a vote to trigger scorch, but you're not going to know what's going on there. So I could try. Commence message 1. No. Commence message 1. I can hear them outside. The door holds them back, but will not for long. Council declares colony beyond saving. I'm not loving that. I'm getting 60s Cybermen. Of course, we could go Doomspafar.
Commence message 1. I can hear them outside.
But we're not doing that. Commence message 1. I can hear them outside. The door holds them back, but will not for long. Council declares colony beyond saving. They have proposed a vote to trigger scorch. Of course, I could put a smile in my voice. Commence message 1. I can hear them outside. The door holds them back, but will not for long. Council declares colony beyond saving. They have proposed a vote to trigger scorch. We cannot let them have our home. Better to let it burn. I am starting a total system purge. All we have learned, all our discoveries, our culture, our art, I am wiping it all. How's that? The book is called Lonely Worlds, Leo. It is available on Amazon. I can drop you a link. You like the smile? We'll do it again with the smile. Okay. Okay, right. No, Twitch is the one with the commands. Well, that was what I was kind of going for with flight attendant style. But... Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the flight M12452 Chertsey. Welcome to the... No, I can't do it. Commence message 1. I can hear them outside. I like it that way kind of thing, I think. Commence message 1. I can hear them outside. The door holds them back, will not for long. It doesn't quite work. Yeah, I'll do it with the smile. We'll try it like that. Right, back to the top of the section. Rakal Mok Palgui. A synthesizer. Rakal Mok Palgui, a synthesized voice announces, in a language I know nothing of. We both leap backwards. What was that? Haley breathes. I stare at the sleek, sophisticated-looking box, so unlike the... I stare at the sleek, sophisticated-looking box, so unlike any kind of technology around when I left home. I think, I murmur softly, it's alien. We grin at each other stupidly. We've made first contact, she giggles. Us. 2 teenagers from London and Surrey, with no qualifications to speak of, and certainly no experience at all with whatever this was. We burst into hysterical laughter, collapsing against the table and each other. A year of travelling entirely alone, then one day another human, and the next aliens? What? Just what? Calrathi Moliabak, Passarip, the computerized voice continues. What do you think it's saying? Haley asks as I wipe my eyes. It responds before I can. Language identified. Earth English layer AQ4508. Dialect circa 2000 CE. Dialect circa 2000 CE. Welcome, error 051. This is so Doctor Who, Haley whispers, echoing my earlier thoughts. What information do you require? What information do you require? It states in a flat monotone, and I realise the voice synthesizer has not been programmed to raise its pitch as one normally would with a question. Therefore, I should actually read it like that. What information do you require? It says in a flat monotone, and I realise the voice synthesizer has not been programmed to raise its pitch as one normally would with a question. What is this place? I ask. Information unavailable. Well, that's helpful, Haley replies. What happened to this world? I try. Information unavailable. Haley pushes me to one side to address the computer herself. Where can we get a drink? There's a pause. Information unavailable. I pound the table in frustration. This must be damaged, I say. We try another 2 terminals that look more or less operable, but they all say the same thing. What information is available? I ask the 3rd terminal. 2 recorded messages. Let's hear them then. There's another pause. Translate to user language. Confirm or deny. I glance at Haley. Confirm, she says. Commence message 1. I can hear them outside, the computer says in its monotone, and a chill runs down my spine. The door holds them back, but will not for long. Council declares colony beyond saving. They have proposed a vote to trigger scorch. We cannot let them have our home. Better to let it burn. I am starting a total system purge. All we have learned, all our discoveries, our culture, our art, I am wiping it all. They cannot know any more about us, or they may use it against the other colonies. I will not allow it. If anyone can hear this, if anyone has come here looking for answers, I cannot help you. End of message 1. End of message 1. Haley quietly takes my hand. Her face has gone pale. I can feel mine has too. Commence message 2. Scorch has begun. The fires are burning all across the city, all across the world. I have a plan, though. I am going to take as many of you down with me as I can. You hear that, you scum? I know you are listening. I expect you saw my force corridor and thought you would follow it. I hope you rejoiced when you arrived at my library. You thought the information here would help you, but I have purged it all. You have come instead to your deaths. Haley clutches my hand tighter, and panic rises in my throat. Nothing has changed in the room, but those words cannot be a good sign. The Force corridor is set to shut down when this message is played. There is no way out. Haley lets go of my hand and runs across the room to the half-closed door. I follow as fast as I can. No, no, no. There's an explosion. The door flies off its mount to skid across the floor, and in spill the flames. That's not a metaphor. They genuinely spill, like liquid, spreading out from the door in an ever-expanding pool, and Haley and I run. Nothing can withstand scorch. I hit the microphone. Nothing can withstand scorch, the recording continues. You can run, but you will die. You hear me, you monsters, you things of evil darkness. You will burn along with my world. You will die in agony, and my retribution for what you have done to my people will be complete. There's a spiral staircase on the opposite side of the room, and we make straight for it, the flames pursuing with terrifying speed, thick black smoke billowing through the air towards us. We start up the steps as fast as we can, the staircase running all the way up to the distant ceiling. I try not to think about what we'll do when we reach the top. We've managed a tier when we look down to see the flames have already entered the stairwell. They're actually climbing the stairs after us, rising up over each step like a living creature, hungry to consume us. That's not possible! I yell as we run. None of this is possible! Haley shouts back. That's not possible! I yell as we run. None of this is possible! Haley shouts back. Despite the adrenaline, our exhaustion and dehydration are already slowing us down. My legs are screaming in pain with each step, but I push on through, ignoring the agony through sheer determination to survive. Haley is managing to keep up, but she has shorter legs than me, and she's definitely struggling. The smoke from the flames reaches us, wrapping itself around our bodies, and its noxious... Try again. The smoke from the flames reaches us, wrapping itself around our bodies, and it's noxious, foul, making us both retch. With a burst of speed, I leap ahead out of its grasp, snatching one last lungful of air, before it and Haley rise up to meet me. Her face is contorted, and she's coughing, hacking, doubling over, hands on her knees. She's out of air. Her eyes glaze over, and I can see her legs begin to give way. I stop running and reach out to catch her, just as she collapses into my arms. I crouch there with her on the stairs, my eyes stinging from the smoke, my mouth clamped shut, savouring the oxygen from that last breath. But the flames are rising below. They've accelerated, climbing faster than us now. Already they've consumed the first 3 floors of the library, and are only a few tiers below us. Maybe this is a test, I wonder, my mind whirling. To prove myself to the voice in the cave. Maybe I have to leave her, to show I'm strong enough for whatever it has planned for me. Besides, I've only known her a couple of days. She's practically a stranger. What would it even matter if I left her? No. To hell with the voice and its tests. I've been alone for far too long. With no other options, I heft Haley into my arms and plough onwards, half running, half staggering, carrying her before me as the smoke turns the world black. Please, I beg in my mind. We need to move on. Move us on now, please. The flames climb higher, clearing the last few levels, licking at my heels. I can't climb any further, so I push open a door to my left and stumble out onto the tier I've reached, clutching Haley tightly to my chest. The flames pour through behind me, and I run, passing row your boat gently down the stream. The flames pour through behind me, and I run, passing rows and rows of broken computer terminals, following the ring around the edge of the room. One more try. The flames pour through behind me, and I run, passing rows and rows of broken computer terminals, following the ring around the edge of the room. Stuff going on on the road outside. Let's pause for a second. I can hear a beeping, like this vehicle is reversing kind of thing. How do you think it's going? It's going all right? Any complaints? Suggestions? Thoughts? Comments? Queries? Oh. Stop beeping! Beep, 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 beep. Hello, Asta. Thank you for the comment. I'm glad you think so, Ninja. Welcome back, Jack. Glad it good. Oh, I'm glad to hear it, Leo. Okay, beeping seems to have stopped. Let's carry on. The flames pour through behind me, and I run, passing rows and rows of broken computer terminals, following the ring around the edge of the room. No, one more time. The flames pour through behind me, and I run, passing rows and rows of broken computer terminals, following the ring around the edge of the room. The smoke is just as thick here, and I can't hold on any longer, so I crouch a little and take another shuddering breath. The toxic air fills my lungs, offering no respite, but only fierce, burning pain. The world around me darkens. Suddenly I'm falling. I'm on my knees, but I just manage to lay Suddenly I'm falling. I'm on my knees, but I just manage to lay Haley gently on the ground in front of me. I turn my head, and the flames are behind me, almost on me. And then I feel it. The call. It settles in my mind, and I give into it without hesitation. We move on, and I close my eyes. End of chapter 4. We did it. Now we're on to the new stuff. So it's 7 p.m. So we are 1 hour and 7 minutes into the stream. So that's the comment I need to remember to put underneath to say chapter 5 starts at 1 hour and 7 minutes. I'll do chapter titles on the stream maybe. Anyway. This vehicle is reversing. This vehicle is reversing. Stand well clear. Vehicle reversing. Mind the gap between the plane, the train, even, and the platform edge. If you see something that doesn't look right, speak to staff or text the British Transport Police. See it, say it, sorted. There we go. Sorry, I don't know what happened there. Tonight, the role of the reversing vehicle will be played by Matt Berry. This vehicle is reversing! Okay. Dear staff, the train is a plane. I have concerns. Good luck with your phone calls, Starrell. The trains in plane fall mainly on the Spain. Right. Chapter 5. Now, Chapter 5 introduces a new character. Spoilers. His name is Ian, and he is a centaur. Now, we have to decide what his voice is going to sound like. What are we going to do? Because I'm not sure whether he's Scottish. I don't think he's going to be Scottish. I'm thinking not Scottish. How do I describe... Aha! I do, you're right, chapter 6. Ian Bell at breakfast, Ian Bellows, reminding me vaguely of Brian Blessed back at home. Okay, fair enough. So a Brian Blessed in the way he says breakfast. Brian Blessed sound like... I completely forgotten I'd written that. Thanks, Ninja. Right, okay. So therefore not Scottish. Gordon's alive! Morning! Okay, I think I'm getting him. Let's throw ourselves into it and try it, and you give me feedback. Chapter 5. I awake coughing and spluttering, my face plunged into rushing water. Strong hands are holding me there. I struggle, but I can't break free of their grip. I strain my neck muscles, trying desperately to pull my head up, but I can't quite move far enough. I can't breathe. I'm drowning! I'm drowning! Air. The same strong arms pull me up, and suddenly I'm staring into an angular, bearded face, which beams at me. Morning! It cries. It drops me unceremoniously, and I tumble in a coughing, gagging heap onto the soft grass of a riverbank. The moment I have air in my air and in meh. I've got air and I've got meh. The moment I have air in my lungs again, I spring back to my feet, my knife in my hands, and lunge at my foe. He's on horseback, or so it seems at first. But even as I swing my knife, I realise the horse part is actually his lower body, merging into a human torso where the animal's neck could be. It's the perfect description of a centaur from legend I've only ever... It's the perfect description of a creature... Jumped ahead of myself. It's the perfect description of a creature from legend I've only ever seen in Harry Potter. That shows how long ago I wrote this. Harry Potter reference. In the post-J.K. Rowling Goes Mad era. No, okay, well, maybe I'll change that in a new version. Anyway, right. Okay, we'll carry on from there. I've lost the page. Where are we? No, you know what? Stuff it. What else is centaurs in? Famous movie or TV series with centaurs in? Narnia? Because let's change it now. Not famous enough. Percy Jackson's a great book series, really famous book series. I don't think the TV series or movies are famous enough. That's the thing, because this is a visual reference. He's seen it. It's the perfect description of a creature from legend I've only ever seen in blank. I'm thinking Narnia is the most famous one. Wait, are there centaurs in Narnia? Am I making that up? I think I probably am. I'm sure there probably are somewhere. No, it's got to be a movie. Because this is the teenage kid perspective. Narnia, apparently. According to IMDb, there are centaurs in Narnia. Good, okay. My Little Pony, Friendship is Magic. Possibly not the tone we're going for. Yes, there's loads of centaurs in Narnia. I've just looked at pictures. Yes, that works. We'll do Narnia. Okay. It's the perfect description of a creature from legend I've only ever seen in Narnia. I think it works. The centaur is quicker than me, twisting the knife out of my hand with a burly arm before I can plunge it into his stomach. With his other fist, he clubs me hard around the temple. Pain explodes through my skull, and as I fall to the ground, he pins me down with a single stony hoof.
Just calm down for a second, psycho.
No.
Just calm down for a second, psycho, he growls.
I struggle. I'm not giving up this easily, not after everything we've endured. But he presses harder, crushing the air from my lungs.
I said calm down!
He's gone a bit, with the Brian Blessed thing, he's gone a bit posh. He's rougher than that.
I said calm down!
Out of options. One more time.
I said calm down!
Out of options, I lie still, staring up at this. In fact, I was peeking there as well.
I said calm down!
Out of options, I lie still, staring up at the impossible creature. Though he's holding me down, he doesn't seem aggressive. I'll calm down when you let me up, I retort, unwilling to back down so easily. But the sound comes out... Let's try it again. I'll calm down when you let me up, I retort, unwilling to... I'll calm down when you let me up, I retort, unwilling to back down so easily. But the sound comes out choked and weak. He holds my gaze for a few moments and slowly removes his hoof. Warily, I get to my feet. Why were you trying to drown me? That sounded weird. Why were you trying to drown me? No, why have I turned into C-3PO? Oh dear, R2, why was he trying to drown us? Why were you trying to drown me? I demand, trying to establish my composure.
I wasn't drowning you,
the centaur replies gruffly, folding his arms.
I was waking you up. Nothing else was working.
I nod slowly, still not completely convinced.
What have you done with Haley?
There's a snort of laughter from a bush off to the left. There's a snort of laughter from a bush off to the left. We both turn to look at it, and Haley emerges. You two are hilarious, she giggles. We glare at her. Oh, come on, she continues, walking over to us. You should listen to yourselves. She takes the centaur's arm. Felix, this is Ian, she says, putting his hand in mine and forcing us to shake. Ian, this is Felix. Now stop posturing and let's have a civilized conversation. We both back down, but continue to eye each other distrustfully. How long was I out? I ask.
Couple of days,
Ian replies, wiping his hoof along the grass.
At least since I found you two. Oh, he's gone a bit. Oh, hello, do we like that? Do we like a London centaur? Oh, you've been out a couple of days. Apples and pears, at least until I found you two. This one woke up next morning, he's turned a bit Dave. No, I don't think we want that. I think we want him a bit grander than that. Couple of days, Ian replied. At least since I found you two. This one woke up the next morning.
Okay, I'm thinking Porthos. Musketeers, maybe. Vibes. Maybe not. Don't know. Figuring it out still. What do you think? Chat's gone quiet for a while. Do you think it's sort of... What are you feeling for Ian?
Couple of days.
Couple of days, Ian replies, wiping his hoof along the grass.
At least since I found you two. This one woke up the next morning,
He says, ruffling Hayley's hair.
but you took some more persuading.
Oh, you think a tad northern? Oh, I think you're right. I think in principle that could work. The question is, can I do the right northern accent?
Couple of days. At least since I found you two. Oh, I don't know what accent that is. That's not northern. What was that supposed to be? Hey up, lad. Cocker. Hey up. Oh, that's Liverpudlian as cocker. That's not right. Hey up. Have some gravy. Yeah. The north. Lots of planets have a north. Trouble at mill. Couple of days. At least since I found you two. This one woke up next morning. But you took some more persuading. I'm not feeling that.
I don't think I can do it convincingly.
Couple of days. At least since I found you two.
I can't do it.
At least... oh, weird. It's been a couple of days. At least since I found you twos. This one woke up next morning.
Well, now it's been a couple of days.
Couple of days. Hey. Hey there. My name's Ian. I'm a centaur. I'm a centaur, so I am.
Richard Armitage. Yes. That would be... Okay. Give me a sec. Don't know how deep I can make my voice, Ninja.
Couple of days. At least since I found you two. This one woke up the next morning. Life.
Don't talk to me about life. Well, here I am, brain the size of a planet. Stuck opening doors.
How does Richard Armitage go? Okay, he's sort of gallant northern.
He's like... He speaks... He has a very low voice, but it's not posh, it's northern, so it's like... Well now... You two are hilarious.
No, I can't do it at all. Gosh, it's really hard.
Hey up, lad. Northern accent, but only a little bit of northern accent. So it's only a little bit. Only a little bit of northern accent. No. Bath. I'm going to take a bath. I'm going to walk down the path.
Can't do it. I'm sorry. I agree in principle. I just don't have the skills. Oh, I need a Richard Armitage impression in my repertoire. But we've got the Brian Blessed line.
I wasn't drowning you. I was waking you up. Nothing else was working. I'm going to kind of speak a bit like this. How about that? If I sort of throw away some of the sounds, throw away a few of the consonants. We're not going all the way into Dave or anything, but we're just going to speak a bit low. Maybe make it a bit warmer, you know. Look, I love you guys. I'm here for you. Not here for you. Are we going here for you? Are we going here? No, it's not written here. It's not written phonetically with an ear. That's a bit nasal, but we keep it like that, you know. There we go. You should see it one day. Most beautiful sunsets in Mythisia. I'm kind of happy with that. It's not perfect, but nothing is. You know? Couple of days. At least since I found you two. This one woke up the next morning. But you took some more persuading. Persuading. This one woke up next morning, but you took some more persuading. Couple of days. At least since I found you two. This one woke up the next morning, but you took some more persuading. I'm a Stalroth boy. You should see it one day. Most beautiful sunsets in Mythisia. Does that sort of sound convincing? I don't know. I'm not convinced. Maybe it works? Sorry, I'm just monologuing in different accents, but I wasn't drowning you. I was waking you up. Nothing else was working. Couple of days? At least since I found you two.
Dunno. Yeah? Ninja thinks that's cool. Well, Ninja is northern. So Ninja's got the northern... is the judge of the northern accent. Okay. I'm going to do it like that. And if at any point you think that line sounded like a Surrey boy trying to do a northern accent, sing out. And I'll record it again. Okay? Let's see if I can... Right, we'll go back.
Morning! Morning! It cries. Just calm down for a second.
Now, how do you say calm down?
Yep. Let's get back into the northern voice. Right, okay, I've lost it now. Hang on. Couple of days. At least since I found you two. No, I've lost it. It's gone. No, hang on. This one woke up the next morning. But you took some more persuading. I'm a Stalroth boy. You should see it one day. Most beautiful sunsets in Mythisia. Right, here we go. Morning! It cries. Just calm down for a second, Circle. Just calm down for a second, Circle. But I've got to say psycho. Calm. Just calm down. Just calm down for a second, Circle. Just calm. Is that how you say it? Is it in a northern? Because I would say calm, but in a northern accent. Just speaking a bit northern. Yep. Okay, that's how I get into it, right? And then just calm. Calm? Would you say calm? No, you wouldn't say calm. I know you do L's sometimes in funny places, but Ninja, I need you. Tell me. Just calm. Does that sound right? Calm. Calm a chameleon. You come and go. Come a chameleon. You come and go. Okay, right. Just calm. Just calm down for a second. Calm down. How do you say down in northern? Just calm down. Calm down. Down? Calm down? It's not Dan. Calm down. Calm down. Just calm down. Down. Just calm down. Down mines. Down to the mines we go. Just calm down. I don't feel like it is down. That doesn't sound right. That sounds a bit Somerset. All right, we could do it with a Somerset accent now. Just calm down for a second, psycho. I said calm down. I wasn't drowning you. I was waking you up. Nothing else was working. Couple of days, at least since I found you two. This one woke up the next morning, but you took some more persuading, Mr. Frodo. I'm a Stalroth boy, so I am. You should see it one day, most beautiful sunsets in Methisia.
Do we not like the West Country, Ian? Okay. Calm down. Calm down. Now that's gone Welsh.
I'm from the Somerset Isles, so I am. Have you seen Ancano? He came down here looking for the Eye of Magnus, but I ain't seen him. I've ridden my combine harvester all the way over here to Winterhold, and I can't find Ancano nowhere.
Calm.
Just calm down for a second. Let's just do it.
We'll just do it. You'll get what you get. Bored now.
Just calm down for a second, Psycho, he growls. Just calm down for a second, Psycho. Just calm down for a second, Psycho, he growls. Just calm down for a second, Psycho, he growls.
I struggle. I'm not giving up this easily. Not after everything we've endured. But he presses harder, crushing the air from my lungs.
I said calm down!
Out of options, I lie still, staring up at this impossible creature. Though he's holding me down, he doesn't seem aggressive. Wow, I heard my shoulder click.
Yep, I'm northern. Right, here we go. I said calm down!
Out of options, I lie still, staring up at the impossible creature. Though he's holding me down, he doesn't seem aggressive. I'll calm down when you let me up, I retort, unwilling to back down so easily. But the sound comes out choked and weak. He holds my gaze for a few moments and slowly removes his hoof. Warily, I get to my feet. Why were you trying to drown me? I demand, trying to re-establish my composure.
I wasn't drowning you, the centaur replies gruffly, folding his arms. I was waking you up. Nothing else was working.
I nod slowly, still not completely convinced. What have you done with Haley? There's a snort of laughter from a bush off to the left. We both turn to look at it, and Haley emerges. You two are hilarious, she giggles. We glare at her. Oh, come on, she continues, walking over to us. You should listen to yourselves. She takes the centaur's arm. Felix, this is Ian, she says, putting his hand in mine and forcing us to shake. Ian, this is Felix. Now stop posturing and let's have a civilized conversation. We both back down, but continue to eye each other distrustfully. How long was I out? I ask. How long was I out? I ask.
Couple of days,
Ian replies, wiping his hoof along the grass.
At least since I found you two. Since I found you two. Found. Since I found you two. Couple of days, Ian replies, wiping his hoof along the grass. At least since I found you two. This one woke up the next morning, he says, ruffling Haley's hair. But you took some more persuading. He's like us, Haley adds. But not from our world. Or the fire... But not from our world. Or the fire world either. I asked. I'm a Stalroth boy, Ian says proudly. You should see it one day. Most beautiful sunsets, beautiful. Most beautiful sunsets. I'm a Stalroth boy, Ian says proudly. You should see it one day. Most beautiful... How do you say beautiful in Northern? Oh, look at that beautiful gravy. Beautiful. Beautiful? Oh, that gravy is beautiful. Most beautiful sunsets. But I've got to say beautiful because it needs to... You need to know he's saying... It's got to be pronounced properly. You've got to understand it in audio. Most beautiful sunsets. Beautiful? I think it does have to be beautiful. But I'll try and enunciate it without the T. I'm a Stalroth boy, Ian says proudly. You should see it one day. Most beautiful sunsets in Mythisia.
Haley and I look at each other and shrug. Alien centaurs, why not? I say with a grin, and the tension between Ian and me is dispelled.
Most beautiful sunsets in Mythisia.
Haley and I look at each other and shrug. Alien centaurs, why not? I say with a grin, and the tension between Ian and me is dispelled. Haley and Ian have set up camp on the riverbank. Ian's got a tent of his own, a large leather affair. Quite how he sleeps in it with 4 legs is beyond me, but I don't ask. It's a pleasant world we've landed on, with a warm climate and wild grouse for the hunting. I'm sitting by the campfire with Haley. I'm not now, later. I'm sitting by the campfire with Haley later. Ian's out collecting firewood. It's not an awkward silence, so much as a contented one. After a while, Haley moves over to me. I never got the chance to say, thanks.
For what? I reply.
For saving me. I know you carried on when the smoke got me on the fireworld. No, you didn't. Say it again. For saving me. I know you carried me when the smoke got me on the fireworld. I'd be dead without you.
Well, I guess that makes us even then, I say with a smile.
Still, she says, and suddenly kisses me on... Kisses. Still, she says, and suddenly kisses me on the cheek. Thank you. And then she disappears back to her tent. I'm still blushing for quite a while later, and the stars seem brighter that evening. Ian comes back with a bundle of sticks under one arm and drops them by the fire. Back home, people like you are just legends, I tell him.
My people say the same of you, he replies, smiling through his beard.
He has an odd way of talking, at times formal, almost archaic, but then he lapses into more modern expressions, as though he can't quite settle on one culture or the other. Or another. Try again. He has an odd way of talking, at times formal, almost archaic, but then he lapses into more... He has an odd way of talking, at times formal, almost archaic, but then he lapses into more modern expressions, as though he can't quite settle on one accent, He has an odd way of talking, at times formal, almost archaic, but then he lapses into more modern expressions, as though he can't quite settle on one culture or another. But then I guess we're both revising our idea of normal. No, it's Ian.
But then I guess we're both revising our idea of normal.
He bends his knees into a half squat, and I realise this is his equivalent of sitting. I wonder if it's strange, essentially spending your entire life on horseback. But then I realise it's all he's ever known, so we must be the strange ones.
You speak my tongue. You speak my tongue, Ian says suddenly. How can that be when you're from another world? How can that be when you're from another world?
I don't know. I don't know, I sigh. I don't know, I sigh. There's so much about all of this that I don't understand. I'm kind of hoping the voice will clear some of it up, if we ever find it.
Haley told me much of your story while you slept, Ian said, nodding. I heard the same voice myself.
Myself? I heard the same voice myself.
Yup, right, Northern, leaning into the Caden. Okay, right. Haley told me much of your story while you slept, Ian said, nodding. I heard the same voice myself, in a cave on a world made of glass.
Glass, you say glass, don't you? In Northern you say glass.
I heard the same voice myself, in a cave on a world made of glass.
It's a cave. It's not a cave. It's not a cave. It's a cave.
I feel like my accent's drifting a little bit, but I'll stick with it. Haley told me much of your story while you slept. Haley told me much of your story while you slept, Ian said, nodding. I heard the same voice myself, in a cave on a world made of glass.
What do you think it is? I ask him.
Ian chuckles. I haven't the foggiest. But it's a direction to ride in, isn't it?
I sleep well that night, and dream good dreams, of home. Apart from once, when I wake at an unearthly hour of the morning, the voice from the cave ringing in my ears.
Beyond the burning world, through the realm of ice, to the gates of hell itself.
The fire world was grueling, to say the least. Even with our years of travel, it was the toughest obstacle either of us have had to hope to picture pep. Even with our years of travel, it was the toughest obstacle either of us had to overcome. Either of us had overcome. Words. Even with our years of travel, it was the toughest obstacle either of us had overcome in all the time since we left home. I can't do it! It was the toughest obstacle either of us had overcome in all the time since we left home. Who writes this nonsense? The fire world was grueling, to say the least. Even with our years of travel, it was the toughest obstacle either of us had overcome in all the time. Even with our years of travel, it was the toughest obstacle either of us had overcome in all the years since we left home. Time. Even with our years of travel, it was the toughest obstacle either of us had overcome in all the time since we left home. Ice will be next, and I have no idea how we'll deal with that. And as for the gates of hell, I guess we'll just have to take each trial as it comes. Ice will be next, and I have no idea how we'll deal with that. And as for the gates of hell, I guess we'll just have to take each trial as it comes. As the three of us sleep on that peaceful world, far away across the multiverse, a shadow falls on a field of snow. From the shadow, voices can be heard. Chittering, screeching, screaming. Out of it, something emerges. Something old and evil, and so unfathomably hungry. It looks to the cold, unfeeling sky and howls. Darkness lies ahead of us and behind us. Our circle of firelight dwindles. The darkness is creeping in. Let's try that one more time. As the three of us sleep on that peaceful world, far away across the multiverse, a shadow falls on a field of snow. From the shadow, voices can be heard. Chittering, screeching, screaming. Out of it, something emerges. Something old and evil, and so unfathomably hungry. It looks to the cold, unfeeling sky and howls. Darkness lies ahead of us and behind us. Our circle of firelight dwindles. The darkness is creeping in. Let's do another chapter. Chapter 6. Chapter 6. Good shout about hydrating. Yep, right, back into the northern. Ian, how does he speak? Bit like that. Okay, right, don't mind. Down pit, let's go down pit, get some gravy. Okay, breakfast! 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 That's what you say in northern, isn't it? You say breakfast. Do you say breakfast? Maybe I'm making that up. Yeah, breakfast, yeah. Well, I think that's a bit Yorkshire, isn't it? We're not quite that kind of northern. Breakfast. Breakfast. Breakfast! The word's lost all meaning, hasn't it?
Breakfast! Ian bellows. It's got to be, this is the Brian Blessed. Breakfast! Ian bellows,
reminding me vaguely of Brian Blessed back home.
No, you don't say breakfast. Okay, I've made that up. Nothing like a hawker steak for breakfast.
How do you say it then? Breakfast. I don't know how to say it.
Breakfast!
Ian bellows, reminding me vaguely of Brian Blessed back at home. He trots into camp with an almost irritating exuberance, and Haley and I take a few moments to properly establish ourselves in the realm of consciousness, before poking our heads out of our respective tents. Wow, Past Joseph, you love your run-on sentences. Let's try that again. He trots into camp with an almost irritating exuberance, and Haley and I take a few moments to properly establish ourselves in the realm of consciousness, before poking our heads out of our respective tents. Ian proudly waves a head-sized bunch of bright purple berries, grinning toothily.
They're good, he proclaims. I've started the day with them every morning since I arrived here, and I do declare they are most filling. Relaxing, too.
I stretch out a hand, not wanting to leave. I stretch out a hand, not wanting to leave the comparative coziness of my tent, but he skips out of reach, cantering over to the ashes of the fire pit. Did I do it wrong? Did I declare did I go cowboy?
I do declare, I say, these berries, they are damn delicious. They're good, he proclaims. I've started the day with them every morning since I arrived here, and I do declare they are most filling. They're good, he proclaims. I've started the day with them every morning since I arrived here, and I do declare they're I have gone do declare now. We're going to go back to the first take. We're going to use the first take, probably, because I don't know that I can rightly do it again. Gotta get up if you want your grub, he teases, and sticks out his tongue. If there are any left, he adds, and shoves a fistful of them into his mouth.
First come, first served, Haley shouts, and by the time I've pulled a shirt over my head, she's already dressed and out of her tent. I thought girls were supposed to take longer to get ready, I complain internally, as I tighten my belt and leap out after her. Even if he were human, Ian would be a big man, and with his horse's body, he practically towers over us. Haley in particular. Even if he were human, Ian would be a big man, and with his horse's body, he practically towers over us. Haley in particular, a fact he's currently taking great delight in, as he dangles the berries just out of her reach. She jumps ineffectually for them a couple of times, and I burst out laughing as I saunter up beside her. Guess I win, I say with a grin, and jump up to snatch a couple from Ian's hand. Cheat, she pronounces me. I pop them in my mouth. I pop them in my mouth. God, they're good. The sweetest things I've tasted in forever. Let's just play it back briefly, just to make sure I haven't got anything going wrong with the audio. So this should be some noise. Yeah. In particular, a fact he's currently taking great delight in, as he dangles the berries just out. Yeah, sounds alright. Good. Continue onwards. I roll the flavours around my tongue. Sorry, I've just read that. I say, lots of planets have a foghorn leghorn. Come on into the TARDIS. Come along, young Rose, I say, we go to get a scur and stop them Daleks. Okay. I roll the flavours around my tongue, savouring them, my eyes half closing in the sheer ecstasy of their deliciousness.
Go on,
Ian's still teasing Hayley.
you'll get them on the next jump.
I open my eyes and grab another few while Hayley jumps. She tries to snatch them from my hands, but I turn away and eat them before she can get to them. Oh, I sigh.
Wow, you're really missing out, Hayley.
She harumphs. She harumphs, folds her arms, and turns on her heel. I refuse to be teased, she says, and starts to walk away. I move to follow her, but a wave of dizziness hits me, and I stumble sideways. Hayley and Ian stare at me in alarm. Are you okay? Hayley asks. I'm fine, I insist. What was that? I shake my head and try to smile, but the ground seems to shift beneath me, and suddenly I'm lying on the grass, my head spinning. Felix! Hayley cries out, and she and Ian are above me, but their voices seem very far away. I think I need to sleep.
They've always been fine for me,
Ian protests, but not quite right.
Yup, they've always been fine for me. Fine, they've been right fine. They've always been fine for me,
Ian protests. Protests.
They've always been fine for me,
Ian protests. It's not protests, is it? It's protests when you use it as a verb. Ian protests. Yes. Words. Ian protests.
They've always been fine for me,
Ian protests, as Hayley and I glower at him. Is it glower or glower? I'm sure it's glower. Protests and glower. How do I English? I'm sure it's glower. I say sure, I'm not confident, but that's what we're going to say. Someone can correct me if I'm wrong.
They've always been fine for me,
Ian protests, as Hayley and I glower at him. I came around in an hour or so, it turns out. Whatever knockout chemical was in the berries doesn't seem as strong as it could be, and thank God it only knocked me out. With all due respect, Ian, I say patiently, you're about 3 times my size. He snorts, but he couldn't... He snorts, but he can't help looking a little embarrassed. His stubble covered... Let's go back. With all due respect, Ian, I say patiently, you're about 3 times my size. He snorts, but he can't help looking a little embarrassed, his stubble-covered cheeks colouring faintly.
I suppose that's a fair point.
And a horse.
That's racist.
We dwell on the riverworld for several days, hunting the grouse and deer in the surrounding woodlands, and only Ian continues to touch the berries. Hayley counts herself lucky she never actually got to try them. Just in case, I wrap a few in a strip of cloth I was saving for potential repairs, and push them down into the side of my pack. Just in case, I wrap a few in a strip of cloth I was saving for potential repairs, and push them down into the side of my pack. We never know what we'll face in our search for the voice from the cave, and somehow I get the feeling a knockout drug might come in handy. Maybe I could poison my knife with them. Not now, though. We've got more important preparation to do. For once, we know where we're going next. Ian never visited the fire world, but the voice... Ian never visited the fire world, but the voice told him the realm of fire... Ian never visited the fire world, but the voice told him the realm of ice was next, just the same as us. So we fashion ourselves thick coats to prepare for the cold, with down from the grouse held together with deerskin. Fortunately, Ian's done it before, part of his trade back on Stalroth. We'd have struggled without him. Fortunately, Ian's done it before. Part of his trade back on Stalroth. We'd have struggled without him. He's been travelling as long as Haley. He left behind a wife and kids. Foals? When, like me, he just slipped away, without understanding how or why. He crafted what he needed from whatever he found. Centaurs are nomads, I soon learn, and more than used to living off the land. He'll be very useful to keep around. On the 4th day by the river, all 3 of us feel the call at once. On the fourth day by the river, all 3 of us feel the call at once. We all know how important it is. We all know how important it is to stay together, and we figure our best shot is to climb up onto Ian's back with our arms wrapped around each other. Since our clothes and pack always travel... We all know how important it is to stay together, and we figure our best shot is to climb up onto Ian's back with our arms wrapped around each other. Since our clothes and packs always travel with us, perhaps physical contact will keep us together. On 3, Haley says. On 3, Haley says. On 3, Haley says. On 3, Haley says. 1. I tighten my grip and clear my mind. 2. I focus, willing myself to stay calm. No. 2. I focus, willing myself to stay with them. 3. The whole world turns white. I'm on the ground, alone. Haley! I shout, but the freezing wind whips the sound away. Ian! I stagger to my feet, wrapping my improvised cloak around... coat around me, clutching at the warmth that I brought with me when I moved on. The blizzard is blinding, a storm of icy whiteness that howls down from the white sky and batters against the white ground. There's no point keeping my eyes open. In fact, it's easier to close them, if only to shield myself from the stinging cold. I have to find Haley and Ian. I have to find shelter. We have to survive. I listen, trying to pick out any kind of sound from the rush of the snowstorm, but there's nothing. I shout again and again, the icy air biting at my lips and throat. I shout and shout and shout, but I hear only the wind. I can't stay here. If I stay, I die, and that won't help anyone. So I pick a direction at random, that way, and I walk, lifting 1 foot from the snow to plunge it down ahead of me, and then the other, 1 step at a time. Ix, I hear on the wind. Or perhaps I just imagine it. That happens sometimes, when you really want to hear something that's very quiet indeed. Your mind pretends for you. Is that what's happening now? I hear it again, and this time I can place it off to my left. Imagined or not, it's all I have, so I make for it, battering my way through the snow as fast as I can force myself to move. It's almost more than my muscles can bear, but I fight on through the pain and the cold until a flash of brown appears out of the white. I stagger closer. It's Ian! Ian! He's sunk deep into the snow, buried up to his equine kneecaps. He's struggling, but the ice holds him firm. Felix! He roars as I reach him. Thank Ra! You have to dig me out! I nod, unable to speak through my chattering teeth, and drop to my knees, pawing at the snow with both hands. My fingers feel like splitting open. It's so damn freezing. I manage to get 1 hoof free, but by then I can hardly move from the cold. I look up at Ian. His face is screwed up in agony, his lips and skin tinged with a worrying blue. You can do it, he manages to say. Please. I force my sensationless fingers down into the snow around another hoof. Ian tries to push himself up with the one I freed, and between us, we manage to lift the second hoof up and out into the air. Unable to speak or rejoice in the minor victory, I pull myself across the snow to his hindquarters, falling to the ground by his rear hooves, but I can't. I just can't. We're going to die here, I realise. Ian and I here in the cold, and Hayley out there alone. Is this really what it was all for? I wonder to myself. All the lonely days and fearful nights. The walking, the fighting, the surviving, only to end here? The cold turns my hands to useless frozen slabs of meat, and there's nothing more I can do. The cold turns my hands to useless frozen slabs of meat, and there's nothing more I can do. End of another chapter! Are you enjoying listening to the story? I hope you are. I know it's got lots of repeats and things as I do multiple takes, but I hope it's still sort of engaging. We're making good progress. We're about halfway through. Let's pause and save again. I'm quite enjoying doing this. Chapter 7. Now, let's make it more dramatic. Chapter 7. I lie there in the hot light of the sun, letting my bones start to warm as the snow softens around me and Ian. What happened? I replay the last minute in my mind. I was digging at the ice, desperately trying to free Ian before the cold killed us both. My hands had gotten so cold I could hardly move anymore. I was certain we were going to die, and then the snow had just stopped. Like some capricious god had flicked a switch, the blizzard had vanished in an eye blink, and suddenly a bright red sun was beaming down on the both of us. Ian and I were left standing there in a snowdrift, wondering just what in the universe had saved our lives. I'm still shivering, but I can feel the warmth work its way through my body. It's not long before I can feel my fingers and toes again, and I turn back to help Ian. It's impossible, completely impossible. But who am I to complain? We're alive. That's all that matters. We're alive. That's all that matters. Ian chuckles as I free his last hoof. Close one, huh? I nod, not as ready as him to make light of the situation. Part of how I've survived this long is due to my tendency to avoid risk of death wherever possible. I've never come so close to it as I have these past few days. Part of how I've survived this long is due to my tendency to avoid risk of death wherever possible. I've never come so close to it as I have these past few days. So, Ian says, as he shakes the snow off his ankles, and we survey the landscape together. So, Ian says, as he shakes the snow off his ankles, and we survey the landscape together. What now? We find Hayley, I reply, without hesitation. Ian nods in agreement. You and I weren't that far apart when we came through. What do you think the chances are of her being the same? From what I know of the rules of this game, I'd say it's practically certain, I tell him. Because this is a game, I know that now. It's being played with lives, our lives, but it's a game nonetheless, and I'm sure as hell going to find whoever's playing it, and they're going to give me answers. But for now, we have to play along. We have to find Hayley, and do whatever we must to pass this stage of the Voices tests. With the blizzard gone, our view is almost completely unobstructed for several miles in each direction. White fields of snow stretching off into the distance all around us, clambering up into rocky grey mountains that lie scattered across the horizon. Young Joseph, split up your sentences so they can actually be spoken out loud. Lord knows how Shirley did it. Starrel, the bin bags. Look in the bin bag drawer. Welcome back, Starrel. Custard, don't eat flowers. With the blizzard gone, our view is almost completely unobstructed for several miles in each direction. White fields of snow stretching off into the distance all around us, clambering up into rocky grey mountains that lie scattered across the horizon like so many titanic teeth. With the blizzard gone, our view is almost completely unobstructed for several miles in each direction. White fields of snow stretching off into the distance all around us, clambering up into rocky grey mountains that lie scattered across the horizon like so many titanic teeth. One more try! Breath control. I'm going to have to put in a breath before the clambering up into the rocky grey mountains. With the blizzard gone, our view is almost completely unobstructed. One more try. With the blizzard gone, our view is almost completely unobstructed for several miles in each direction. White fields of snow stretching off into the distance all around us, clambering up into rocky grey mountains that lie scattered across the horizon like so many titanic teeth. Perhaps a kilometre ahead of us, down a gentle slope, a small cluster of alpine trees is visible on the shores of a frozen lake. We'd see her from here if she were anywhere else nearby, I say, pointing, and Ian agrees. We'd see her from here if she were anywhere else nearby, I say, pointing, and Ian agrees. I climb up onto his back, despite his protests of being treated like a pack animal, and we set off at a trot towards the trees. Hayley! I shout every now and again as we ride, my voice bouncing off the landscape in a series of eerie, wraith-like echoes. Try that sentence again. Hayley! I shout every now and again as we ride, my voice bouncing off the landscape in a series of eerie, wraith-like echoes, each more distorted than the last, until I hardly recognise the sound. Ian adds the not inconsiderable power of his lungs to my own, but we get nothing. Ian adds the not inconsiderable power of his lungs to my own, but we get nothing back. We skirt around the frozen lake, its surface glassy and still, with no sign of movement beneath the ice. That's what this whole place feels like, I realise, ever since the blizzard stopped. Still. Too still. I shout her name once more as we reach the edge of the trees. I shout her name once more as we reach the edge of the trees. I shout her name once more as we reach the edge of the trees, and I could swear I hear something in response that isn't just my echo. Hayley! Ian roars. And there. It's no clearer this time than before, but it's there. Just on the edge of the last echo, a distant, almost inaudible chuckle? Just on the edge of the last echo, a distant, almost inaudible chuckle. The hairs on the back of my neck start to prickle. See, now that's an interesting thought, Cthulhu, But I'm coming down in favour of no sound effects for this one. Because I think it depends on the kind of book you're going for. But I know you're either going for an enhanced audiobook, in which case you do sound effects, or you're going for just a plain read audiobook, in which case no sound effects. And the latter is what we're going for here, because a lot of people find it quite distracting. Some people find it too much sensory overload if you have sound effects. So I think you can go one or the other way. For instance, with the audio drama, the Treacle People audio drama, we go the whole other way. It's all sound effects and everything. But if you start the route of dry, no sound effects, you need to stick to it. Because otherwise you're changing halfway through, and someone who started out finding it accessible, suddenly it's no longer accessible for them. So I think we're going to stick with no SFX. It's a good idea, but no, I'll just go for the yell.
I don't like this. I don't like this. I don't like this. I don't like. I don't like gravy. That's sacrilege. Everyone likes gravy. It's like. I don't like this. I don't like this.
Ian says quietly.
Something's wrong.
I know, but we need to find her. We move forward into the shade of the trees. It's much, much colder here, out of the sun. A little light filters through the canopy above, and glitters off the wet snow underfoot, but it casts strange shadows. I can't tell what precisely is wrong with them, but they feel off somehow. That's my stomach. I can't tell what precisely is wrong with them, but they feel off somehow. Innocent silhouettes of branches seem to shift silently into reaching, grasping claws. Patches of reflected light on snow turn to beady, hungry eyes, watching our every move. Hayley! I shout again, and I feel like Hayley! I shout again, and I feel like a crowd of birds should rise up from the trees in response to my cry. But nothing moves. Nothing at all. Nothing at all. We plough on into the cluster of woods. Surely she would have heard us by now if she were here, I wonder. I'm starting to doubt myself. Perhaps she's come through somewhere else entirely. Perhaps she's not even on this world. Maybe that's the game the voice is playing. No, wait. There's something up ahead. A figure in the trees that's neither shrub nor rock. It's... Ian! Hayley shouts, bursting through the trees in a headlong sprint for us. We have to run, now! The brief, jubilant grins that have sprung to our faces falter, but we don't need telling twice. Ian charges to meet Hayley, and I lean out to one side to grab her, pulling her up with me onto Ian's back, just as something lets out a sound that's either a scream, a howl, or some combination of the two. What the hell is that? I ask her. Bad, she cries, wrapping her arms around my waist from behind. Very, very bad. So we run, crashing through the trees as fast as Ian can go. I crane my neck behind me, and my eyes catch a glimpse of some kind of pitch-black shape flickering through the trees in pursuit. Wolves? Wolves? I ask, although I know the chances of it being something so mundane are slim. No, Hayley says breathlessly. I don't know what they are. I was hiding from them, but they were distracted by you shouting, so I ran. I'm so glad we found you. So am I. Save the relief for a little while yet, Ian shouts as we break from the cover of the trees, out onto the snowfields. Where now? Make for the mountains, I tell him. We might be able to lose them there. The feet of the nearest of said mountains are no more than a few kilometres up ahead. I'm not sure how long it'll take us to get there, and if whatever's chasing us will catch us in that time. Even with the both of us on his back, Ian moves very, very fast at a gallop. I can't imagine being able to keep up with him. I turn again, peering through the powdered snow thrown up in Ian's wake. I can't make them out at this distance, but whatever's pursuing us has left the trees, and they're moving just as fast as we are. 3 black shapes, streaking across the landscape in a cloud of churning, schnurning, schnurr. All of that, it's all schnurr. 3 black shapes, streaking across the landscape in a cloud of churning. One more time. 3 black shapes, streaking across the landscape in a cloud of churning snow. If I squint, I can just about make out. I cannot. Let's try one more time. Yeah, that's fun, Theoden. I could do that as a YouTube thing. Could be fun. Don't know. I've got so many outtakes from the Treacle People audio drama. So those will be bonus material. There's like a whole gag reel. It's nonsense. It's great. But yeah, anyway, 3 black shapes streaking across the landscape. 3 black shapes streaking across the landscape in a cloud of churning snow. If I squint, I can make out the occasional flash of jagged horns and what looks like a spiny tail. Definitely not wolves, I observe. I turn back to Ian. How fast can you go? I ask him. How fast can you go? I ask him. Not as fast as them, he pants back, his face plastered with sweat. I twist again to get another look at whatever monsters are following us, but then to make our situation even more dire, as suddenly as it ended, the blizzard starts up again, shrieking wind and driving snow materializing out of nowhere and leaving us utterly blind. I don't even bother to waste time wondering at the impossibility of that. Clearly it's just a quirk of this world. I can't see a thing, Ian cries over the storm. Hopefully neither can they, I shout back. We ride on, struggling against the forces of nature, hoping wildly that we're managing to keep a straight line and that the monsters aren't quite upon us just yet. Do you think we can fight them? Hayley asks, lifting a hand to the bow slung across her back. Maybe one, I say, shaking my head. But there were at least 3 of them. I don't fancy our chances. So we just hope we get the call, Ian snorts. Maybe, I say. Or maybe. I've wondered before about moving on without it. I tried, briefly, back when I was being chased by the lizard beast. Is it possible to initiate it ourselves? I think about the actual sensations of moving on, trying to pinpoint the precise process. What do I actually do? Hayley, I say, and she turns back round from trying to spot the monsters in the snow. What does it feel like when you move on? I don't see why that's... Just tell me, please, I insist. What does it feel like when you move on? I don't see why that's... Just tell me, please, I insist. You don't think we can make it happen ourselves, do you? She asks. You don't think we can make it happen ourselves, do you? She asks. I don't know, but it's all I can think of. What does it feel like to you? What actually happens? She frowns and closes her eyes, remembering. It's hard. I can't quite make it out. I close my own eyes, despite the chaos whirling around me. It's like there's a block of some kind. A fog. Yes, she murmurs. I can't see a way through. Can you? I try. I really do. But it's like trying to imagine the process of thinking itself. My mind just isn't equipped to deal with it. What if we're thinking about this the wrong way? What if we're thinking about it the wrong way? Hayley says suddenly. What do you mean? Well, I was learning to drive before I left home. I haven't a clue how the engine works, but I can work the pedals and make the car move. Okay. That could work. So where are the pedals? Door! Ian pants. I see it as a door. The cord's the key. I visualize a door in my mind, trying to fit the sensations of moving on into that shape, to forge the call into a mental key to open its lock. It's difficult, and it takes all my concentration, but I think I might be starting to make progress. Maybe I can reach for the handle. Out of the snow rears the rocky face of a cliff. Ian pulls back sharply, swinging around to the left, and it's all I can do to keep a hold on his back. The wind blasts into us, forcing us up against the stone. The cold bites at my face and neck, and I wonder for a moment if we might have managed to lose the monsters in the storm. But with cruel irony, the cold bites at my face and neck, and I wonder for a moment if we might have managed to lose the monsters in the storm. But with cruel irony, how do you say that word? Irony. Irony? Irony. 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 The cold bites at my face and neck, and I wonder for a moment if we might have managed to lose the monsters in the storm. But with cruel irony, it's that exact moment that the blizzard drops again, vanishing in its impossible way, giving way to sunshine and clear skies. We're right at the foot of the mountains, following the sheer wall around in search of a cave, and right there, less than 100 meters away, are creatures from the darkest of nightmares. I feel them before I see them. I can sense their hunger, pressing and pouring at me, probing my mind for a soft spot where they can start to tear. 6 sets of red compound eyes focus on us. A dreadful, piercing howl rises from each of the creatures, that cold, ravenous need to feed, scrabbling and clawing at my consciousness. I clutch at the hair of Ian's back, willing him to move faster, but they're almost upon us. Our circle of firelight has dwindled to a single guttering flame. The dark has risen, and now it's all around us, the last light of our survival flickering dimly between its black, cavernous jaws. Jaws that are poised to finally snap. Jaws that are poised to snap finally shut. Let's go back to the previous paragraph. 6 sets of red compound eyes focus on us. A dreadful, piercing howl rises from each of the creatures, that cold, ravenous need to feed, scrabbling and clawing against my consciousness. I clutch at the hair of Ian's back, willing him to move faster, but they're almost upon us. Our circle of firelight has dwindled to a single guttering flame. The dark has risen, and now it's... Our circle of firelight has dwindled to a single guttering flame. The dark has risen, and now it's all around us, the last light of our survival flickering dimly between its black, cavernous jaws. Jaws that are poised to snap finally shut. The dark has risen, and now it's all around us, the last light of our survival flickering dimly between its black, cavernous jaws. Jaws that are poised to snap finally shut. Jaws that are poised to snap finally shut. There we go. Okay, I think we'll probably park it there for the day because I'm getting a bit tired. But that is up to the end of chapter 7. So there are 4 chapters left to record, which is pretty good. I'm pretty happy with that. So hopefully we might finish that in another session. Maybe 2 more sessions because some of the later chapters are a bit longer. But I thought on a whim, just as a little bit of fun, I'll save that. I don't, because it's a very small number of you here, and I know at least 2 of you are interested in Treacle People stuff. I just, for a laugh, wondered if you'd like to hear like a teeny tiny little section. Just because it's been fun. Like, just the tiniest little section of audio from the Treacle People audio drama. Just the tiniest bit. This is just going to be a random bit as well, so you're going to drop in like halfway randomly through episode 1. Hang on, that's the start. And there's no music. Bear in mind this is work in progress, but just as a little reward for listening all the way through the rest of the stream, let's go in at the 3-minute mark. Hopefully you can hear this okay. I'll mute my microphone so it doesn't echo.
Empty. Empty. Get on with.
All right. Keep your hair on.
Has he gone?
Indeed he has, oh lovely Lillian.
Right, Brendan. We'd best get on with packing up the pub then. Charlie! Pack up the pub.
Afternoon, Lil. Pint of ginger beer.
Sorry, Tapper. We're out.
Out of ginger beer?
Out of business. No ginger beer, no treacle toffee, no Lil's famous homemade parking.
Oh, well. Small mercies, eh?
What?
Nothing.
There we go. That's your little section. Tiny little teaser. Just a tiny little bit of the voices. But there you go. You get to hear the voices. So that's fun. Okay, anyway. I can also tell you there are 6 episodes altogether. And all in all, it totals about 80 minutes. The set. It's about an 80-minute box set. They're longer episodes, some of them. Well, it's 4 standard length episodes and 2 specials. But yeah, so should be fun for you to listen to when it's there. But as I say, it's all recorded. I've done my director's cut of it all. It just needs, the sound design for a couple of the episodes still, and then the music. But we will get there. So anyway, there we go. It's all very exciting. So watch that space for more. Right, okay, I am probably going to end the stream. Those were different voice actors. Yes, they were. Oh no, those were the same. Sorry, those are the original voice actors from the show. Yeah, those were the original voice actors from the show. Yeah, who are back there. But there were different characters. There were 3 different actors you heard there. But yeah, those were Glyn Mills, Jim Norton, and Caroline Bernstein from the Treacle People, as originally recorded and as reunited in studio in 2024. So there you go. Right. Yes, of course they sound similar. They are. Yeah, they're the original cast. Right, we're going to end there. Thank you very much for keeping me company during this not desperately interesting stream. But it's been good fun having you sort of supervising and directing, and I'm really glad we made the progress that we did. I will be back, hopefully soon, but I know last time I said that it was a 3-month break, so I don't know. But we're going to come back and record more soon, because I want to actually release this thing. So yeah. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you very much for your support. Here is the link again to the book. If you would like to buy the book, it's there on Amazon. And if you would like to watch the Treacle People, you can find that on YouTube as well here. That's the TV show. So do have a watch of that in anticipation for the audio drama when that releases, because you'll want to know what's going on. But yeah, thank you very much for watching, everyone. I will see you next time. Look after yourselves, be marvellous to one another, and cuddle a kitten if you've got one, because why not? Okay, see you soon. Toodle pip!